Bonjour, étudiante de français. This live class recording will tell you how to do the upcoming project Mon Voyage en France. So, in this project, you are basically going to research one of the regions in France and pretend you went on a trip there and write about it. So let's take a look first at some pictures of La Belle France, beautiful France. So, like it says, for this project, you will research one region of France. Here are some photos of some of the regions. So some pictures of Normandy, which is in the northwest. On the left, there's Mont Saint-Michel, which is a famous abbey off the coast of Normandy. And you notice that there is a road here going out to Mont Saint-Michel. When the tide comes in, many times the road is covered with water, so you can't go out there during that time. And just another picture on the right of how beautiful the coast is in the northwest of Normandy. Some pictures on top of Bretagne. Bretagne is the province or region in which I stayed when I was in college. The house on the left is representative of a lot of the houses in Bretagne. It's also in the northwest next to Normandy. Most of the houses are made of stone there. Stone is a resource which is plentiful, whereas wood is not as plentiful. I stayed in a house very similar to that, and a lot of them now, although many of them are old houses, a lot of them now have the sun windows on the roof to let in more light. And here's an old building on the right in Bretagne that is a hotel and restaurant now. The picture at the bottom is La Corse. La Corse is an island off the southwest or southeast coast of France. And part of that island is shown here. It's a bigger island than just that, but in English we call it Corsica. You might have heard of it from history class. Napoleon was exiled to Corsica after his fall from power in the 1800s. So exiled means they sent him there and he couldn't come back. More pictures. One more picture of La Corse in the upper left-hand corner. It just says Voyage en Corse, travel in Corsica, découvrez l'île de beauté, discover the Isle of Beauty. And then, of course, there's l'Île de France, the region in which Paris is located. On the left, on the right, is a picture of Le Louvre, one of the most famous museums in the world. And on the bottom left is a picture of La Seine, the river that goes right through the middle of Paris. More pictures. Provence is also a very lovely place. It is in the southeast of France. The most famous crops in Provence are lavender, which you can see on the top left, sunflowers, and rice. Provence is a very rural province, most of it, and a lot of crops are grown there. And they are very well known also for their markets, colorful markets with fruits and vegetables. And as you can see on the bottom right, a lot of the doors and shutters on these old stone buildings are brightly painted, so it's kind of cool walking down the streets of Provence. Let's go on to the next slide. Let's see if I can find it for you. Here we have La Côte d'Azur. La Côte d'Azur is so named, the Azure coast is so named because of the color of the Mediterranean Sea. Azure is a color, bright blue, and it is also in Provence, but on the Mediterranean Sea. And there, the ocean there is very calm, almost like a lake. There aren't very many waves, and it is so nice. The water is so warm. It's so nice to go out, and it's salt water, so you float really easily. And all of these pictures are from the Côte d'Azur. There are lots of yachts, very big boats for rich people on the Côte d'Azur. And in Cannes is the International Film Festival every year. And so there's that tiny little picture of the red carpet going up to the theater in which they have part of the film festival that's so famous in June, I believe it is, in Cannes. And we'll go on. So now your actual project you have to do. I'm going to read on the right first, where the French is. Dans ce dossier, vous allez imaginer que vous avez visité une région en France et que vous avez visité beaucoup de villes et de sites culturels. Puis vous allez écrire une lettre à propos de votre voyage en France. So you need to use the passé composé, in other words, the past tense, to write a letter describing what region you visited in France and what you did on your trip. Write a paragraph of 10 to 12 sentences in which you describe your imaginary trip to a region in France. À faire, to do. This is what you do. Choisissez une région en France que vous voulez visiter. Choose a region in France that you would like to visit. Rappelez-vous qu'il y a 22 régions en France. So remember that there are 22 regions in France. And so there's a little map on the right, and you can choose which region you'd like to do. Any of the 22 regions that you'd like to research, it's up to you. And I would just pick one and do a search online, and if you like that one, go for it. If not, keep searching till you find one you like. Okay, the second point. Faites des recherches sur cette région et prenez des notes sur les renseignements suivants. So do your research on your region and take notes on the following things. La capitale. Each region has a capital. Les villes principales, the principal cities, or the major cities. Don't list every city, just the major ones. Excuse me. Les sites et les monuments dans cette région. Notable sites and monuments in this region. Again, don't list them all. The major attractions in each region. So here are your guidelines for your 10 to 12 sentences. Oops, sorry about that. So we'll read on the left. Utilisez le passé composé dans votre lettre. Okay, so use the past tense in your letter. Remember, you are writing about that you already went. Oh dear, I'm sorry I keep moving this on you. Keep my fingers off the keyboard. Okay, so you're going to use the past tense, le passé composé, and here's what you need to have. Un verbe qui se termine en ER. One ER verb. Comme travailler, manger, chanter, danser, nager, parler, acheter, et visiter. Okay, you have to have one verb. Can you have more? Of course, as long as you have one ER verb. The next thing you have is un verbe qui termine en IR, comme choisir, finir, grossir, grandir, et réussir. So one IR verb. And they're just giving you some choices here of IR and ER verbs. You don't have to use those, but they are suggestions for you. Un verbe qui termine en RE, comme vendre, attendre, entendre, et rendre. So an RE verb. So far you need at least one ER, one IR, and one RE verb, conjugated in the passé composé as you're supposed to. And the last one says deux verbes irréguliers, comme avoir, être, faire, prendre, écrire, Lire, dire, et mettre. So you need to have 2 irregular verbs. Those are suggestions for you. The following is on the rubric on which you'll be graded. Remember to write it in letter form as if you were writing to a friend. Faites mention des renseignements suivants dans votre lettre. Make sure you mention the following things in your letter. La région que vous avez visitée, the region that you have visited. La capitale de la région, the capital of the region. Les villes principales de la région, principal cities in the region. Où la région est située en France. Okay, where the region is situated in France. Okay, like I was talking about earlier, some things are in the northwest, southeast, in the middle. Okay, things like that. Comment vous y êtes allé? En avion, en train, en voiture. So you need to say how you went there. By plane, by train, or by car. 4 monuments, musées ou sites que vous avez visités. So 4 monuments, museums, or sites that you have visited. And at the very bottom, 4 activités que vous avez faites. 4 activities that you have done there. So don't forget on this to look back at this guidelines page if you need to. Also, it will be in your lesson, Mon Voyage en France. So make sure you look at one of them after you've written it and check off if you've done everything, because that's what you'll be graded on. Also on if your passé composé is correct and all of that. So, des questions? Do you have une question? If you do, contact me. Both of my phone numbers are there. And you must call me for credit for watching, as always. And bonne chance, good luck. Au revoir.